Robbie knew what he had to do this time, how to get rid of the coin once and for all. No more blood on his hands. This time it had to work, and it had to be final. So he went to the park in the center of town where he knew there was a fountain, where people threw coins in there all the time to make their wishes. He knew that the coin would be safe among all of the other coins because who would even know it was there? So he sat and waited for hours as people came and went, throwing their own coins in and making wishes for a better future for themselves. Finally, the sun went down, the moon came up, and it was dark enough to hide his terrible secret. He walked to the water and flipped the coin away. As it fell from him, going end over end, he almost reached for it again as he watched it sink below the surface and slip into the darkness. He waited a while longer to make sure that no one else came along, and when he was satisfied, he finally left. What he didn't know was that the detective had followed him and waited for him to leave so he could retrieve the coin and have his evidence. The detective locked his gun and his wallet in the trunk of the car and walked confidently towards the fountain. After all, he had been in scuba diving competitions all of his life and had never had a problem before. This should be a piece of cake. As he looked in the fountain, he guessed the water to be about 6 feet deep. He took a deep breath and jumped in. As he dropped below the cool surface, he began to realize that this was much deeper than he thought. He takes a quick look around and sees the coin down a little bit deeper than he was at the moment. He reaches for it, but he can't gain any footing on the slippery surface. Then he feels a sense of panic and looks longingly at the surface and kicks his legs to get back up there. At the same instant, he has a vision of his lifeless body floating just below the surface and panics. Then he feels something wrapping itself around his ankle. Some seaweed, some kelpish thing that doesn't belong there. It doesn't feel very strong, yet he can't escape it. He reaches down to try to pull it off of him as the last of his oxygen escapes his lungs, and it's over. In the morning, they find his lifeless body just scant inches below the surface, exactly as he had envisioned it.